What's up, guys? Welcome to the first review of this House of Psychotic Women box set, which I recently just opened. I had received this for Christmas and just stored it away until now, and finally it felt like the right time to check these out. Now, admittedly, I did the briefest of research when it came to these box sets. I know Severin puts out a bunch of them, especially like horrors and exploitation films from Europe, giallos kind of style, stuff like that with the Danza Macabre box sets, and this one, just the title of it caught my eye and caught my interest immediately. And then I briefly watched the trailers that were for the movies that come in this box set, and they all were certainly captivating, but I had never heard of them before or anything like that. So this is fairly new to me, and it's kind of a unique experience, and I always like Severin and everything they put out. So starting with the first film, Identikit, I will be talking about it very briefly, and then I'll be getting to a little bit more spoiler stuff. I also watched this film twice to get a full grasp on it because it was that bonkers, and I just really wanted to get everything I could out of it. This is basically starring Elizabeth Taylor, which I don't know if this entire box set is a tribute to Elizabeth Taylor, but she's obviously here in the front, and she pretty much looks like that in this film. And basically she's traveling to Rome, and for psychotic women, this film definitely gives a perfect introduction to what someone should expect from the films that come in this box set. This woman is slightly unhinged, to say the least, and the film opens up with her in this dress store, and she's buying a dress basically, and she's complaining the whole time that the woman who's selling it to her basically at first gives her a dress that's stainless, and she gets offended by this because she's like, what kind, do you take me for somebody who would spill coffee on myself, kind of thing? So you already tell that this woman is basically a Karen and will snap at anything. You follow her trip to Europe. This film is told in non-linear style, so think Quentin Tarantino. During her trip to Rome, she meets these random people. She'll run into, a bunch of odd characters, as well as flashing to police interrogation scenes where people will be interviewed or interrogated essentially by the police, and it'll cut back and forth between that. So there's a lot of time jumps in this film. It's a very intriguing film. I've seen films narratively like this, but I don't often come across films this bizarre in nature when it comes to its characters and its storytelling and where things lead. There's a lot of twists and turns, and things lead into directions by the end of the film that you really don't expect. I think the most entertaining part of this film is just the characters this woman comes across and how odd they are. It's just crazy. Getting to a little bit more spoilery stuff, during this woman's flight to Rome, she encounters two guys on the plane. One she sits beside, and then he immediately gets frightened about something and then goes to sit in another seat. And throughout the film, we get flashbacks where the cops are interrogating this specific guy. And then this other guy who's also sitting beside her, his name is Bill. He does the whole creepy licking of the lips thing, and he's just like clearly coming onto this woman aggressively. And this guy says he's like he's on this microbiotic diet. I don't know how to say the word. It's all about yin yang, and his diet is strict on like yin meals and yang meals, and he constantly talks about how the diet requires an orgasm a day because orgasms are yang, and he carries rice bags in his pockets and shit like that. And there's one scene in the film where he's talking about his orgasm routine, and he's like, I gotta have one a day, and if I miss one I have to have two tomorrow, and then in that case I'll get indigestion. Never heard of orgasms giving people indigestion, but then he starts screaming at the woman. He's like, orgasms are yang. And that's just one of the crazy people you meet in this film. There's this other guy who tries to get in this woman's pants by getting her in his car, and she's constantly talking about how she's not going to sleep with anybody, yet at the same time she always puts herself alone with men at all times and has this seductive quality to her, even though she blatantly says that it's never going to happen. So I guess part of her insanity involves the obsession with teasing, I guess, maybe, possibly. But he eventually gets her alone. Like, he drives to this dead end, and then he starts to physically get very aggressive with this woman, and she escapes, and then he goes to chase her down with the car, and like an idiot, gets out of the car and then starts chasing her around the car, and then she comes through the other side and basically steals his car and gets away. She meets this woman at this like scarf store, and then this woman is a very eccentric, bizarre, like chatty old lady type kind of thing, and Elizabeth Taylor's character starts to complain about the dress again, and this whole theme with this dress goes on. It's a very, very colorful dress, so when the police are interrogating everybody that came in contact with this woman, they always ask them about the dress, because this woman's dress stands like it's like a rainbow of bright colors. She committed a crime, and in the third act you find out what it was. Basically, the guy who was in the plane that went to sit somewhere else because he was afraid of her, she claims to have been tracking him down, like as if she had this kind of psychic connection to him. And when she runs into him again at the end of the film, she's like, I've been looking for you forever. And then she lures him into this forest and then asks him to murder her. And she like wants it done in this like super detailed manner. Like she wants her wrists tied, and then she wants him to stab her in specific spots. And it's just fucking bizarre. And the film basically ends that way, so you realize that everybody the cops were interrogating were people that came in contact with this psychotic woman. So this film is almost like a fever dream, because it's filled with just the most random sequences. There's a bombing at one point where this guy just randomly throws a grenade at a car, and that comes out of nowhere. So for uniqueness, it's definitely a crazy unique film, and I'm excited to check the other ones out. So if this is the first one of the 4, I can't wait to see what's in store for me in House of Psychotic Women. So glad I opened the box set finally, and good stuff from Severin as always. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned for those. Check out what's on the channel already. Stay tuned for what's coming. Until next review, have a good one, take care, and cheers.